Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to a new video. Today I want to talk about a study that I was reading that made me question things that I've talked about in the past on this channel. So make sure to watch it until the end to see if I've changed my stance or something, or what I've learned in general from the study. Before I do that, I want to just remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button. And if you want to check me out on other social media platforms, do that as well. So let's get to the topic, consumerism. This is something that is so often discussed about in the animal rights community because we don't know how much impact consumerism has. Of course, to some extent it has an impact, but some people claim that no matter what we buy, no matter how much we boycott, nothing will change. Some people will say only consumerism will change. Obviously, most of the time it's not as black as white as we hear it. So I think today's study helps in that, and I've taken different stances in my past, so which I don't mind about being wrong. Of course, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm always open to being wrong, and if anything I kind of get happy because it means that I learned something and I got better. So let's get to the study. The study I'm going to be talking about was published online by Cambridge University Press, and actually it was supported by the US Department of Agriculture. It's called Are Plant-Based Analogs Replacing Cow's Milk in the American Diet? Now, very interesting question. Is the consumerism that we have in the market right now when it comes to plant-based milk affecting in any way what the dairy industry is doing? So just for some background, some people claim that no matter what we do, the dairy industry would never lose anything, that our impact as like supply and demand wouldn't do much difference because we're not that many. So I think that this is a really, really good study because it's a very important one. I mean, what's the point of doing activism if we're not going to check if it's effective? So just for some background information, starting 1940, the consumption of cow's milk as a fluid, as a drink, has been declining, around 1% year after year. However, between 1995 and 2009, it started declining 1% a year. And from 2010 till 2017, that 1% went up to 2.5%, which means that it's declining at a faster rate than before. Now, a lot of you might already think, and a lot of people think about this, by saying that that started happening because veganism started growing and the plant-based market was offering more alternatives, and therefore more sales were going towards plant-based milks than towards the milk that is provided by the dairy industry. Now, I want to share with you a very interesting graph that shows that while cow's milk consumption is declining in American households, the consumption of plant-based milks is growing. And here's the graph. It's called US households are buying less fluid cow's milk and more plant-based products. And as we see, the blue columns that represent the fluid cow's milk are going down year after year as the plant-based products that are the orange ones are going up. So the main question here we have to ask ourselves is whether or not the plant-based milks are replacing cow's milk. So are people buying plant-based milk instead of buying cow's milk, or are they buying it other than the cow's milk that they're buying it as an extra purchase? And guess what? The study even talked about that, and they said that the ERS researchers confirmed that cow's milk remains a staple food item. At some time during 2017, for example, 92% of American households bought cow's milk. Even among those who bought plant-based alternatives, 90% still bought cow's milk. Yeah, it's not good news, but it is what it is. That's the research that we have, that's the information that we have. And one thing to keep in mind is that maybe it's not as bad because this is back in 2017. A lot has changed in the past 4 years. So let's hope that that has changed as well. Because from what we see so far, 90% of people who are buying plant-based milk were also buying cow's milk. So it was an extra purchase, which means we're not doing that much difference, or at least we weren't until 2017. However, I do have some kind of good news. At least we could be excited for that part, and we can share and talk about this, and that is the conclusion of this research. They said our results show that plant-based milk analogs are negatively affecting households' purchases of cow's milk. The rate of replacement may even be about 1-to-1 in recent years. In other words, every gallon of analog purchased by a household may take an equally sized sale away from dairy suppliers. However, the amount of plant-based analogs purchased by households is relatively small compared to cow's milk sales. Thus, the magnitude of the impact on cow's milk sales is also small. Sales of plant-based milk analogs are not a primary driver of sales trends for cow's milk, and food labeling policies are unlikely to have a large impact on those trends. So, two things to learn here. The consumption of plant-based products is negatively affecting the consumption of cow's milk, basically the sales of cow's milk. But it's not that much. It's definitely not the driving force in declining sales of cow's milk. Not the driving force. Please keep that in mind. Another thing we have to remember is that the dairy consumption in general has not been going down in the United States, which means that even though the sales of cow's milk is going down, the consumption and the sales of other dairy products such as cheese and butter is going up. So it's not good. However, we can at least see that to some extent there is some declining when it comes to cow's milk, and that is the result, a very small and minor result, of the purchase of plant-based milk. I think one important thing we can say here is that we have to stop being so black and white when it comes to activism. We cannot say that we should not at all do consumer-based activism, and we cannot say that we should not at all do, let's say, subsidies-based or political activism. We have to do it all, okay? This is an industry that is present in our society and in our lives in so many ways and exploits other animals in so many ways that we have to make sure that we attack it from every single option and angle that we have. Otherwise, we're just targeting one thing. If you only target the consumers, but the industry is always being backed up by the government, you're not going to be able to do much. If you only target the government and the subsidies and the politics behind it, well, the consumers are still going to ask for it. And as long as there's a demand, there's going to be supply. However, let's be realistic. Let's not always jump around, celebrate when the dairy industry is having some changes. Because yes, cow's milk is going down, but in general, the consumption is not really going down. So we have to get motivated by this information, have better strategies, and continue fighting, of course. Each person has a different thing that they can offer to this movement, to this fight. So look inside you what it is that helps you become a better activist or something that you're good at and you can see a positive impact come out of it, and concentrate on that. I think that's really important, and we have to stop thinking in limited ways, do as many different types of activism as we can and see which one is working best. And as long as we're doing that and we're targeting it from all sides, I think we can eventually have a bigger impact. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button to stay up to date with these videos. Other than that, if you would like to support my work anywhere from a couple of dollars a month, please feel free to check out my website SEBALEX.org or send me a message if you'd like to have more information about that. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.